Hi everyone, Matt James here, welcome to another guitar tutorial, and today I'm going to show you how to play the Fleetwood Mac classic The Chain, which is one of, if not the most famous of their songs that they've done, made more famous of course by that iconic bass line which featured for years as the theme tune for Formula One. This one, a couple of things to note before we start with it. We're in drop D tuning for this one, so you want to down tune your bottom E string and your top E string to D, and we've got capo on the 2nd fret as well. Now this version that I'm doing is an approximation really of what Lindsey Buckham's doing on the original, because on the original I think there's double track guitars. I think he originally plays this on like a National Steel guitar. I'm just playing it on a standard acoustic, and he's doing Travis picking as well. This version is a simplified version. Don't get me wrong, it's not what I'd call easy by any means. It's still difficult, but it's easier than maybe if you're struggling with Travis picking or you just want something that's a bit more accessible, then you might find this tutorial useful for you, because it does simplify it ever so slightly. But anyway, without further ado, we'll get to a close-up and I'll show you how to play it. Okay, so as I say, to start with, we're drop D tuning, and you want your capo on the 2nd fret. So I'm going to be referring to the frets relative to the capo. So even though it's the 3rd fret, I'll refer to it as the 1st fret because it's relative to the capo. To start with, for the introduction, you want to make a D7 shape, okay? And the first note you are playing is your bottom E string, and it goes. So that's the first bit you're playing, so using your thumb to play the bottom E string, and then you want to use your thumb again to play the D string with your finger in that D7 shape, and then your first finger is hitting the B string, and you want your thumb again to hit the G string, and then you want your 2nd finger to hit the top E string. So again, very slowly all together, that's. So do that once more. That's how it starts, and then you go in, so very similar, and but it's just slight variations. In total for this introduction, we're playing it 8 times through before we get to the verse. So again, to start with, we're going. So that's same again with your thumb hitting the bottom E string, and then your thumb hitting the D string. Then first finger hitting the B string, but then with your thumb hitting the G string, you're going back to the B string. So like that, so alternating between the B and the G string. And then you're hammering on with your little finger onto the 3rd fret of the B string using your first finger. So it's. Again, once more slowly. So taking that from the top slowly, that's. And then you're repeating that for the 3rd time round. Same again for the 4th time. And then for the 5th time, we're going. So you're using your little finger to hit the top E string. So again, it's exactly the same, but just when you get to the first time you hit the D string, you're using your 2nd finger to just hit the top E string, and then back again. Same doing that hammer on. So again, that's. And then you're back to the regular pattern of. So again, I'll start right from the top and I'll count through each time we're doing it as well. So right from the beginning of the intro, we've got. 3, 4, the same again. Then 5, you're hitting the top E string. And 6 is the same again. Same again for the 7th. And then for the 8th time, we're changing our finger position ever so slightly. So I like to do it where I'm moving my first finger onto the G string of the 2nd fret, like that, and then you've got my 3rd finger is playing the 3rd fret of the B string. So it's kind of like a D suspended shape, really. And so for that, you're going bottom E string to the D string. The first finger is hitting the B. So again, very slowly, that's bottom E string to D string with your thumb on both of those. Then your first finger is hitting the B string. And then you're kind of doing a pull off with using your 2nd finger on the A string on the 3rd fret. You're going so like that. So again, slowly up to that point, we're going. And then using your thumb and your first finger to hit the D and the B string together, like that. So again, slowly, that's. Then use your whole hand just to play the chord, and then stop it dead with your hand on the strings. So again, slowly, that's. And that's your introduction. So I'll play the whole thing, again, very slowly, right from the top to the end. So we're going. Okay, slight little error from me at the end, but you get the idea. Alright, so we'll try the intro at speed now, so you can play along with it if you're feeling confident enough to. So here we go, this is at the same pace as the original. Okay then, so now we're going to take a look at the verse, and your starting position is exactly the same as where you finished the intro, which is rather handy. So you've still got your first finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, the 3rd string, and then you've got your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string, the 2nd string, and you want to leave your 2nd finger open because you are going to be using that very shortly. So the beginning of the verse starts like this. So that is your bottom E string, and then using your thumb to hit that and the D string, then using your first finger to hit the B string, and then now you're using your 2nd finger to pull off on the bottom, on the A string of the 3rd fret, so like that. So hit that with your thumb, but then use your pull off to create the sound. You're using your thumb and your first finger to hit both the D and the B string together after that. So like that. So slowly, the whole thing is. Just do it once more. And then you're sliding up to the 5th fret using your 3rd finger. You could, if you wanted, just start immediately there, but I think it sounds better if you slide up. I think it has a nice effect. So that's start like with that, and then you want your little finger to be on the 5th fret as well, but this time on the top E string. So 3rd finger on the bottom E string, your little finger on the top E string, and it goes. So it's using your thumb to hit the bottom E, then hitting the G string with your thumb, and hitting the top A with your little finger, and then back to the G string. So that's slowly, that's. And then after you've done that, you're moving across your 1st finger to the 3rd fret of the top E string. So like that. Do that once more slowly. So far we have okay, and then you're moving across your 3rd finger to the 3rd fret of the A string, and then you want your little finger this time to also be on the 3rd fret but of the B string, the 2nd string instead, and then your thumb is also hitting the open G string, so it's. So thumb hitting the A and the G, your 1st finger's hitting the B, and your thumb's going back to hitting the G. And then you want your 1st finger to move to the 1st fret of the A string, so lifting up that 3rd finger. So you've got this. And this time you're only playing those 3 notes. You're not going back to the G, so you got your 1st finger hitting the A, or your thumb rather hitting the A, and your thumb's also hitting the G, 1st finger's hitting the B, but that's it, you're not going back because your 3rd finger is going to be hitting the bottom E string on the 3rd fret. So again, slowly, we've got. And then you want your 3rd finger, as I say, to go to the 3rd fret of the bottom E string. Hit that with your thumb, and again it's not quite full, and then lifting that off for the open E. So again that's. And then you're going back to that D5 D suspended pattern. So you've got your 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the G string and your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. So again that's. So then you're playing that same pattern that you played right at the start to finish off that particular sort of cycle of the verse. Again, we'll just go from that bit. Okay, so I'll start right from the beginning of that sequence with a verse. Okay, and then I like to, because I think it does this on the record, for the start of the 2nd bit of the verse. You don't have to do this by any stretch, but it's a nice flourish. I like to start it just by using my thumb to like rake up from the top E string, obviously all the way down to the bottom E string like this. It's a nice embellishment, which you don't have to put in, but I do think sounds nice. So again, at speed, that's. And get it right, of course, so that's it. So yeah, you're raking up, and then using your thumb to start the pattern again. And so it repeats exactly the same as before. So again, I'll go through that fairly slowly, because there is a change right at the end. But in fact, I'll tell you what, I'll go right from the beginning, and then you can see the rake demonstration as well, and where the changes are. So we'll go from the beginning. And then this is where it changes, because you still want your first and your second finger to go to that D5 D suspended pattern that it did before, but this time using your thumb and your first finger to play them, and then immediately going up to the 5th, 6th and 7th frets and playing that. So your first and your second finger in the same position, you're going up here, and then you're wanting to quickly move them. Now, I prefer to stick what I'm used to and have my first and second finger in the position. Then when I'm sliding up, I quickly adjust so that it's like that. But if you're more comfortable having them ready to go, which some people might argue is more sensible, so then all you're doing is just moving your third finger onto the 7th fret, then that's absolutely fine as well. But I'll show you what I do. So I'm going after the so those are the notes you want to hit. You're hitting the 2nd and 3rd frets of where your fingers already are, then you're just moving them up to 5, 6, 5 and 6, and then on the 7th fret, use your 3rd finger, hit that final note. It's quite quick as well. It's quite a difficult one to practice and get right. Even now, I still sometimes don't always get it right, because it's quite a difficult one to get consistently right. So it's worth practicing doing it slowly. But again, we'll just go from where just before then. So. And so that's it for your verse. So I'll play the whole verse again slowly, and I'll maybe even sing along a bit as well, just so that you know where you are in terms of the melody in the song. So. Listen to the wind blow, watch the sun rise. Run in the shadows, damn your love, damn your lies. And then I like to do a dead stop as well on that. I'm pretty sure Lindsey Buckingham does that. Again, you don't have to, it's more of an embellishment, but it sounds quite nice. So that's your verse. Again, yeah, I say that difficult to get your head around at first, but it sounds good, and as I say, this is the simplified version as well. So then we're into our chorus bit. This is a bit easier because this is just chords. So we're playing this lovely chord to start with for the "When If You Don't Love Me Now" bit. So you've got, and because we're in drop D, it's a slightly different fingering pattern. So you've got your third and your little finger both on the 5th fret of the bottom E in the A string. And then you want your first finger to be on the B string or the 2nd string of the 3rd fret, and everything else is open. And that's the rhythm you're playing. So it's very sort of staccato. Well, if you don't love me now, you will never love me again. So it's mainly just downstrokes with that. There's a couple of times where you're going, which is just down, up, down, up. And if you don't love me now, you will never love me again. And then you move him to your D5 D suspended shape. So that's 2nd and 3rd finger on the G in the B string. And then you move in, so that's "You don't love me now, you will never love me again, I can still hear you." And then you move in your first finger over to the 1st fret of the A string, lifting up your 3rd finger, your 2nd finger, but keeping your 3rd finger down where it already is on that 3rd fret. So I can still hear you saying, and then you want in your so you want your 2nd finger to be on the 3rd fret of the E string. Then you want your 3rd finger, your ring finger, to be same again, 3rd fret but on the B string. Then your little finger is immediately below it, 3rd fret of the E string. But you're not putting that down just yet, so it's more like a hammer on. So that's very quick as that. So again, I'll go from. So you are keeping that on to start, but you're immediately lifting it off that your little finger. And then you're back to the same again. Back to the intro, and that is it, because the second and third verse rather exactly the same pattern. The only difference is that it stays on for about a bar longer, because there's an extra bit of the lyrics. So that's where, and have a listen to the original if you're not sure what I mean there. But in terms of the finger picking style and what you're playing, it's exactly the same. You're just lasting longer on it, that's all. I think it's for the down comes the night bit. Can often catch people out of that. And then the chorus is exactly the same for the last time. The only bit where it changes is just before the bass part comes in for the intro. You're on your D5 shape again, or D suspended. Someone will tell me if I'm wrong or if what is right. And so then you're moving your second finger across. So both your second and your third finger are on the third fret of the G and the B string. So at speed, I'll just play what it sounds like. So that sounds like this, just before the bass bit comes in. So yeah, as I say, actually, you could move it across, or you could actually just have your first finger on the second fret and then just move your second finger to the third fret. In fact, that might be a lot easier. So again, starting with the, and moving your second finger, as I say, to the third fret, and then moving your first finger to the second fret of the top E string, and you're playing with your first finger is playing the E string, and your thumb is playing the B string and the G string. And you're just repeating that. Just doing it quickly. So that's. And then back to the same again. And then I'm pretty sure on the original I can hear somebody playing the D and the top E string just going, and then the bass comes in. And that's it. So I'll just do that again quite slowly so you can follow along. And then you've got the bass part. That's I don't need to show you that. There'll be plenty of videos on how to play that, I'm sure. And then for the outro bit with the chain keep us together, you just alternate in between this, which you've already done in the chorus, to that D5. So you just alternate in between those two. And that's it. I mean, the original fades out, so it's up to you how you want to end it. But that is it. That is the chain. As I say, not the easiest one in the world to do. I've done a simplified version of it, because obviously there's the Travis pick and the proper version of it. But if you just wanted to start out and maybe doing a little bit more sort of advanced tricky finger picking, or you've always really loved that song and wanted to have a go at it on the acoustic, then I do hope you found that useful. If not, or if there are things that you think I could have done better, again, please do let me know in the comments. But if you did like the video and you liked what you saw and you haven't already, please do consider subscribing and liking the video as well. So it really does help me out. But anyway, that was the chain. I hope you found that useful. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next one.